Hello YouTube, this is Kim and I'm back with Undiluted TV. Tonight's video is gonna be real. It's gonna be real short. It's gonna be real sweet and it's gonna be straight to the point. I am so excited. I am so excited, and the reason why I'm excited is because today I got my first messages on Instagram from, evidently I'm assuming they were either gay people or supporters of the LGBTQ community, and the messages that they wanted to send me were not very nice. You know, in one of them I was being called this fat big face bitch, and I was being called homophobic. In another one it was gay pride forever bitch. Okay. Okay, that's, you know, but it shows me one thing, and what it shows me is that evidently whatever I'm saying in my videos, and I've only got 3 or 4 that have even gone up yet, evidently what I'm saying in my videos about the elites, about the upper echelon, about the powers that be wanting to push the gay agenda, and also wanting to push this agenda from NAMBLA, North American Man Boy Love Association. Evidently I've touched the nerve. Evidently I've touched the nerve. You know, and of course, as soon as you begin to speak the truth, and if you speak any truth whatsoever that concerns the gay community or that concerns LGBTQ in any kind of way, then you're automatically classed as, you're automatically labeled as being homophobic. I'm not homophobic. I have no fear of gay people. I have no fear of transgender people. I have no fear of bisexual people. I have no fear of lesbian women. I have no fear of that. I'm almost 53 years old. I have absolutely no fear of that. What I do, however, and I'm not going to say fear, but what does concern me is what I see happening as far as the pushing of this agenda, which I don't believe, I know, if it's not watched, if people are not made aware, if parents are not made aware, I know that it's going to lead to some kind of legislation or something that's going to come down that's going to make pedophilia legal. I know it. All the roads are headed in that direction. All of the signs point in that direction, and that's my only concern. What two consensual people decide to do, 2 consensual grown adults decide to do, as far as their sex life is concerned, is their business. I don't want to know about it if they're heterosexual. I don't want to know about it if they're homosexual. I don't want to know. That's not my business. However, I take issue with grown adult people wanting to have sexual relationships with children. I take issue with that. You understand what I'm saying? Call me homophobic, call me whatever you want to call me. You can call me fat, you can call me ugly, you can call me anything that you want to call me. I take issue with that. I take issue with any adult, whether it be male or female. I take issue with any adult wanting to have a sexual relationship, desiring to have a sexual relationship with a child. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Doesn't matter to me. You're a child. I take issue with that. So you can call me out of my name. You can say what you want to say about me. You can call me homophobic. You can call me ugly. You can do whatever you want to do. But at the end of the day, I take issue with that. And because I take issue with that, I will continue to do exactly what I've started doing. And all the insults in the world are not going to be able to stop me. So just keep bringing them. Because all you're doing is showing how disillusioned you are if you can't see the pieces of the puzzle falling into place. If you can't see what all of this pushing all of this same-sex relationships out in the public and saturating us with all of these images, if you can't see what it's leading to, then that's on you. That's your twisted mind. But my mind has been untwisted. I know what's going on. I see it happening. So, you know, that's going to be the whole purpose of this video is, you know, okay, come at me if you want to. I welcome you coming at me. I welcome you coming at me because the bottom line is you can't change the truth. You know, it's not about you trying to change how I feel or trying to change how I think. It's not about me trying to change how you feel or trying to change how you think. It's about the truth. And I've come here on a mission to find and disclose the truth. And the truth is, NAMBLA is more involved in the whole Michael Jackson thing and this whole documentary being aired and this whole Oprah Winfrey interview that was done after the documentary. NAMBLA is more a part of that than anybody maybe that anybody know, or maybe than anybody's willing to admit, or maybe more than maybe anybody has researched so far, but it's there. It's there. And for anybody to in any kind of way insinuate that a child, a 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13-year-old child can give their consent to have a sexual relationship with a full-grown adult is disgusting. And anybody that supports that kind of mess, anybody that goes along with that kind of mess, anybody that supports NAMBLA, anybody that thinks that it's okay, anybody that wants to try to romanticize these relationships and try to act like these relationships aren't harmful to children, you ought to be ashamed of yourself. And yes, it bothers me that now black men are being portrayed as the face of this kind of mess, this kind of deviance, this kind of sexual deviancy and this sickness, because there has to be something wrong with you mentally if you can sexualize a child. And that's exactly what society has started doing. Society has started sexualizing children. What was his name? Aleister Crowley. He made it clear that as far as he was concerned, children were sexual objects, that it was okay to sexualize children. And that is exactly what society is doing now, doing everything that they can to sexualize children. You want us to believe that 5, 6, 7, 8-year-olds understand enough about sex, understand enough about puberty, understand enough about biology, understand enough about sexuality and sensuality, understand enough about their bodies to be able to decide that they're transgender. Oh, I was a girl born in a boy's body. I was a boy born in a girl's body. Something is not right with me. No. That's an identity crisis. You need to come to terms with who you are and who you were created to be and who you were born to be. Now, if you decide that you want to be gay, okay, that's different. But for you to deny who you were created to be and try to be something that you're not, that's psychological. It's something wrong with that. That's psychological. I know a lot of people. I know a lot of gay people that have absolutely no problem identifying with who they were created to be. I'm a man. I know I'm a man. I might be a gay man, but I'm a man. I'm a lesbian. I prefer other women. That's all I prefer is other women. But I know I'm a woman. And I'm not trying to change that. But anybody that wants to come after me for deciding that I'm going to protect children, bring it on. Bring it. Because this is what it's all about. Because instead of anybody being in my Instagram messages, you should have been trying to find out what you can do to protect the next child against the next predator. Or are you the next predator? Anyway, let me not get too upset. Let me not get too passionate, because I'm very passionate about this subject. Why? Because I have 2 children and a granddaughter. That's why. And if our children, who are our future, are so psychologically messed up and emotionally messed up because folks decided that it was okay to just start having sexual relationships with them, talking about they can give consent, I've already talked about. If I can't consent to having surgery, I'm a 15-year-old girl and I need surgery. I can't consent to it. My parents have to consent to it. I'm a 13-year-old boy. I think I'm old enough to drive, but I can't go get a driver's license. I'm a 10-year-old child and I see my parents struggling. I want to go get a job, but I can't go get a job. Okay, well, if I can't do all of those things, then there is no way that I can consent to having a sexual relationship with anybody. And that's what all of this is leading to. Again, like I said, 30, 40 years ago, what's acceptable now was not even thought about back then. But it's acceptable now. Why? Because the image kept being pushed, and because people kept protesting, and people kept marching, and people kept trying to act like, you know, there was some discrimination involved in it, or whatever the case may be. So it's acceptable now. So if all of these images of, again, like I said, man on man sex and woman on woman sex and man on man relationships and same sex marriages and all of this guy, if that stuff keeps being pushed and it keeps being and the atmosphere is saturated with it, and that's all the American public can see, yes, we will become desensitized to it. And it won't be long before the image of a boy and a man, or a woman and a little girl, or a woman and a little boy will be all right. I mean, come on, we got drag queens going in kindergarten classrooms. Kindergarten. Why does any kindergartner need to know anything about sex, sexual orientation, what's okay, what's not okay as far as sex is concerned on any level? I don't care whether it's heterosexual or homosexual. Why is this a topic that we need to talk about with kindergartners? 3, 4, 5, 6 years. Why is this a topic that we need to be talking about with these babies? They're babies. They don't know anything about sex. They don't know anything about relationships. The only relationships that they know anything about are the relationships that they have with their parents, the relationships that they have with their little friends, their siblings, the relationships that they have with their teachers, and those are the only relationships that they should know anything about. Again, trying to sexualize children. It's wrong. It's despicable. And I didn't say it, but NAMBLA said it. That they are ready to cooperate and align themselves with the LGBTQ community and the women's rights movement. So if you got a problem with it, take it up with them. Don't come at me. And I will be doing another show pretty soon on NAMBLA and how that whole Michael Jackson thing still fits into NAMBLA. I'll do another show on that. Because now I'm really, really, really passionate. And because I've touched a nerve. And that's the whole point, to touch a nerve. So that people can wake up and realize that our children are at stake. Our future is at stake. Everybody can't be gay. We got to keep some heterosexuals around so that we can keep the population going. Because as far as I know, right now, 2 men can't create a baby and 2 women can't create one. So we got to keep a few heterosexual folks around to repopulate the earth. Now, I want to get into, because I mean, this is getting so old, and it's so dead. You know what I'm saying? That the minute that you speak out against something, or the minute that you don't cater to a certain group's agenda, or you don't go along with the bullshit or whatever, you're automatically called homophobic. Okay, and so let's define homophobic. Okay, for all intents and purposes, let's go ahead on and define it. Especially since I've been called homophobic now. First time in my life I've ever been called homophobic. But anyway, it's funny. But let's go ahead on and define it, since I've been called homophobic. According to Merriam-Webster's dictionary, the definition of phobia is an exaggerated, usually inexplicable and illogical fear of a particular object, class of objects, or situation. That's what a phobia is. Because in order for you to be homophobic, you have to have homophobia. Right? Okay. So that's the definition of a phobia. An exaggerated, usually inexplicable, which means unexplainable, and illogical, it's just illogical, it's irrational, it makes no sense, fear of a particular object, class of objects, or situations. Claustrophobia, the fear of being closed in. They have the fear of heights. I can't think of the name of the particular phobia, but it's that illogical fear of heights. You have people with that fear of flying. That's the reason why they never get on an airplane. We've seen on some of the HBO specials or whatever, that there are people that have fears of aluminum foil. We have arachnophobia, which is that insane fear of spiders. Okay, so first of all, for all these people, for the one person that called me homophobic, and for all these other people that just keep throwing this homophobic word out there, It says an exaggerated, usually inexplicable and illogical fear of a particular object. Are y'all objects? I thought gay people were human beings. I didn't know they were objects. And I didn't know that they were a class of objects. You understand what I'm saying? Are they situations? Or are they human beings? Now granted, they may find themselves in situations because they're human beings, but they themselves are not situations. So it makes no sense. And these are examples of phobia in a sentence. Noun: his fear of crowds eventually developed into a phobia. Recent examples on the web of the nouns. The National Institute of Mental Health has found that 6.5% of Americans have a phobia that prevents them from flying. Another one: fears don't get much more false than today's rising rate phobia. Okay, that was just to throw out there the definition of a phobia. Right. Now, do people fear gay people? I have no idea. I'm sure maybe they do. People fear black people, so have we come up with a new term, blackophobia? You see what I'm saying? Because it's known. It has been proven in studies that people fear black people because of the images of black people that are constantly put out. That people have a very irrational, illogical fear of black people. So when are we going to come up with this new word, blackophobia? Why does it have to be homophobia? Why do I have to be afraid of you simply because you're gay or because you're homosexual? Why do I have to be afraid of you? You're not threatening my life. You're not threatening my well-being. You're not threatening anybody in my family. You're not threatening my ability to take care of my family. So why should I fear you? Now, this is something else I found on Google that I want to read to you about phobia. A phobia is a type of anxiety disorder defined by a persistent and excessive fear of an object or situation. The phobia typically results in a rapid onset of fear and is present for more than 6 months. So, I guess people find themselves in close contact with homosexual people, and for 6 months, this onset of fear stays with them for 6 months. So I guess for the last 6 months, I have just had this persistent and excessive fear of what? What's the object? What's the situation? Now, like I said, the situation surrounding Mambla and how all of this stuff is being used together, and all of these pieces are falling together, and all of this is being pushed to bring about the legalization of pedophilia. Yeah, that concerns me. Is it a fear? No, it's not a fear. I'm not afraid of it. Because I do believe the American people are smarter than that. I do believe we're smarter than to go along with that. especially the masses. You know, you may have 2 or 3, you may have 10 or 12, you may have 100 or 200, but overall, I don't think we'll ever get to that place where all of us go along with that, to the point where there's actually legislation that's passed that will legalize pedophilia and pederasty. Pederasty, rasta, whichever way you want to pronounce it. So no, I don't have a fear of it. It concerns me. It deeply concerns me. Because like I said, I have 2 children and a granddaughter. So it deeply concerns me. Because see, if NAMBLA has their way, no child is safe. And they are already unsafe enough. How many teachers have been prosecuted for having sexual relationships with their underage students, and even you know what I'm saying, and even birthing babies by them, even having babies by them? How many coaches have been found guilty of having relationships, sexual relationships, and sexual misconduct and sexual impropriety towards, you know, their students? And it's rising. We got the Me Too movement running around here talking about Me Too and sexual assault and sexual harassment on the job and all of these. These were grown women. These were not 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old children. I'm talking about the grown women now that were involved in all of this. In the Harvey Weinstein scandal and some of the other scandals that have come. I'm talking about the grown women. I'm talking about the grown women involved in the Bill Cosby. They were full grown women. If you made that decision, then that was your decision. But where's the Me Too for the babies? Where's the Me Too for the children? Where's the Me Too for the children in Hollywood that are still being abused? Nothing has changed. Nothing has come out about that. And Corey Feldman has done everything that he can to try to bring awareness to it. Where's the Me Too movement for them? Where's the Me Too movement for children that are being raped at home and in school and at church every day? Where's the Me Too movement for them? The fact that we even have an organization out like NAMBLA says something about our society. That we even have an organization that can literally call themselves an organization, and they've got a little pull, they've got a little clout, they've got members with the audacity to even try to bring forth a bill to legalize pedophilia. The fact that we even have an organization like that in the United States and they're not hiding speaks to the kind of culture that we live in now. So where's the protection for the children? And yes, I will say again, constantly saturating the airways and magazines and TV shows and all of this with this constant same sex relationship and man on man sex and woman on woman sex. Yes, it has already started to desensitize the American public. So no, it's not far-fetched to think that one day they'll make them. They'll just kind of throw a little image up there of a man with a much younger boy, and 2 or 3 people might let it slide, and then the next time they do it, 20 or 30 people might let it slide, and then the next time they do it, 400 or 500 people might let it slide. Come on, people. It's real. And all these folks running around talking about they concerned about victims, and they concerned about the victims of sexual molestation and sexual assault and sexual harassment. Okay, well, if you're concerned, do something about it. The powers that be need to do something about it. Instead of hiding behind Michael Jackson and R. Kelly and Bill Cosby. And now Richard Pryor. But those with the real power, those with the real influence, those who have been doing this stuff for so long that it has become ingrained in them. Nobody's touching them. Nobody's touching them. Nobody's going after them. Nobody's calling their names. Nothing. And it's all right to keep sexualizing children. Everybody, I have to say this. Everybody seems to have a problem with the fact that Michael Jackson could be in a bedroom alone with children and it be perfectly innocent and nothing happened. You know what? You know what it really says? It really speaks to how sick and how degenerate our society is. And how truly sexual people look at children. How people truly look at children as being sexual beings. Because if you don't sexualize children, if you don't sexualize a child, if there's nothing about a child, nothing about children that turns you on mentally, emotionally, physically, then yeah, you can sleep in a bed with 5 or 6 of them and it wouldn't bother you one bit. Why? Because there's nothing sexual about it. Because you don't sexualize children. Because you don't find anything sexual or sexually desirable or sexually appealing about a child. So yeah, I understand very easily how Michael Jackson could climb up in the bed with 5 or 6 children and go to sleep. What is wrong with us? What is wrong with us that we look at children as sexual objects? What is wrong with us when we can look at babies? People have been accused and convicted of raping babies. I'm talking about infants, toddlers. What is wrong with us that you can find anything sexual in a child? So if you want to call me homophobic, call me homophobic. I will gladly take that label. But I will not stop talking about this issue. I will not stop talking about how children need to be protected. I will not stop talking about what Mambla has going on. I will not stop talking about how everybody from Hollywood down to the politicians, how everybody is pushing this gay agenda. If you want to be gay, be gay. But don't think for 1 minute that you're going to push it on me and I have to accept it. That's your way of life. You live it. But don't think for 1 minute that you have a right to try to force everybody else to accept it and act like it's okay. But now as far as that pedophilia thing is concerned, I ain't gonna go that far. At least with gay folks, if that's your life, live it. Live it. Just stop trying to force it down everybody's throat. And stop trying to act like, you deserve some kind of special privileges or some kind of special protections in the United States just because that's how you choose to live your life. That's your lifestyle. You don't deserve to be treated different or treated special or have any kind of special protections because that's your lifestyle. That's your lifestyle. You chose it. And please, 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 stop trying to identify the gay rights movement with the struggles that black people have had to endure in the United States. They don't even compare. They don't even compare. And gay rights activists and advocates have been trying to do this since the late 60s, early 70s. Trying to identify themselves with the struggles of the black man in America. No, don't work. I can't hide this nappy hair and this black skin and this voice. I can't hide this if I tried to. Without putting on loads and loads and loads and loads of makeup. And it might not even work. Not that I want to hide it, but I'm saying I can't hide this. This is who I am. This is who I was born to be. This is who I was created to be. And every bit of the discrimination that me and others like me have had to deal with in America down through history has not been because of who we wanted to sleep with. Has not been because of, who we decided we was gonna fall in love with. The heart can't help who it loves. None of what we have had to deal with, none of the injustice, none of the brutality had anything to do with any of that. It was all because of this skin. That's what it was because of. So all of this, everybody trying to get in on the struggle, and everybody trying to act like their struggle and their issue somehow or another identifies with the struggle of the black people in America. No, it does not. Now, when they round all the gay folk up, take them out of America, put them on boats, chain them down, and take them to another country and force them to work, to have babies, to be raped, to be hung and beat, and force them to build that country without any pay, without any recognition, call them 3/5 of a human being. Now when gay folk go through that, then you can come back and you can tell me that you identify with the black struggle. Until then, can it, drop it, let it go. It don't work. So I've had it. Like I said, you can call me homophobic, you can call me what you want to call me. Makes no difference to me. But I was led to this platform to tell the truth, and that's exactly what I'm going to do on this platform. I'm going to tell the truth. There is nobody's struggle in America that even comes close to comparing to what the black man, the African man, has had to deal with since we've been here. And it hasn't stopped. Like I said in my very first video, the packaging, the dynamics may have changed. But the results and the outcomes still the same. So do what you want to do, be what you want to be. Go ahead. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Not my business. I'm not interested in it. Except for how it's being used to push that even more sinister agenda. And that's that agenda of NAMBLA. To finally get us to the place in America where we say pedophilia is okay. Where we say that pedophilia is not harmful to the child. Where we say that there can actually be loving, caring, consensual relationships between a pedophile and his victim. So if you want to come on. Bring what you got. Bring the best that you got. I'm armed and ready. Call me any kind, like I said, call all kind of names. That just goes to show how very, very childish you are and how ignorant you are to the facts and how blinded you are by your own decisions. But this ain't about you. Just like this ain't about me. This is about a much, much, much bigger thing. This is about this world, especially these here United States, going to hell in a handbasket. All behind the agenda that folks higher up that we know absolutely nothing about are pushing. And if you want to be a pawn in that agenda, you go right ahead. You're welcome to it. I don't intend to be one. Because I don't intend to have to look at my granddaughter one day and say, you know what, baby, I'm so sorry. I could have spoke out. I had the opportunity to speak out. I had the opportunity to tell the truth. And maybe, just maybe, some of this would not have happened. Maybe, just maybe, some of this world that you're living in now would not, it would not be like this. I don't want to have to look at her and carry that guilt and that shame because I didn't speak up. So I'm glad you think I'm scared of you. And I want you to keep thinking I'm scared of you. Because like I said, remember now, phobia is a fear. An excessive, irrational, unexplainable fear. Okay. But with all my fear, I'm going to keep speaking out. And I hope y'all keep staying tuned to what I got to say. So that you can leave more little comments and you can send me more little nasty messages or whatever. Okay. But just let me keep on touching a nerve. Let me keep on touching a nerve. Let me keep on hitting that nerve. Because maybe, just maybe, I might hit one nerve one day that actually opens up some brain cells so you can start thinking for yourself. And realize, whoa. We need to back up, and we need to back up quick. Because this is not taking us to a good place. And it's not. It is not taking us to a good place. It hasn't brought us to a good place. In all of these years, it has not brought us to a good place. And it's trying to take us to an even worse place. Keep it coming. Keep the comments coming. Keep the nasty remarks coming. But at the same time, please keep listening. Please keep listening. Until something ticks, something clicks. Until that light bulb goes off in your head and you realize it's much bigger than just me having the right to sleep with who I want to sleep with. It's much bigger than just me having the right to marry who I say I want to marry. It's much bigger than me just having the right to love who I say I want to love. It's bigger than that. It's bigger. It's darker. It's more sinister. And it's more deadly than that. This has been Kim Stevens with Undiluted TV. Y'all have a good night. And stay tuned, because more is coming.